Today we are going to understand the very important topic, and so we are going to deep dive into something really exciting: how Netflix, one of the biggest tech giant, uses Java in 2025. So trust me, if uh, you are loving tech, microservices, or Java, you are going to want to stick around for the entire video lecture, because this is not only for the a video that gives you the idea of Java question answer, but today it's a lot of things. So stick around and let's go with the topic. So the Netflix Java uses in 2025. In 2025, Netflix continued to be a leading example of large-scale Java adoption. Okay, so what does it mean? With over 250 million subscribers globally, Netflix needs to operate at a massive scale, and at the heart of its backend, yes, it's still Java, but not the old Java you might be thinking of. Netflix has evolved. I have gone through the videos of Netflix engineer, and he has posted one of the best video that I have seen, and also he has told how they are not using old Java and they are using the new Java. So what is new Java, what is old Java, that we will talk about more in this lecture, and we'll go through some QA sessions too. So let's understand. So what is modern Java version and garbage collections, right? So the first big change, Netflix completed its migration to the Java 17 and beyond, even exploring Java 21 and 23. So this leap wasn't just a cosmetic, right? It brought a huge gains in garbage collections and performance. Okay, so you may be aware of the JVM garbage collection, right? So you understand how this visualization works, right? So the generalization of ZGC, the largest garbage collector, is now standard. So it means ultra low pause times and better memory efficiency, and here's the important part. So more predictable service behavior comes in the Java, in the Netflix, due to Java. Okay, so what Netflix uses in 2025, right? So these are the topics that we are going to cover: how modern Java adoption happen, how a Spring Boot at a scale happen, how they're using GraphQL and gRPC integration, and we'll understand the virtual threads and structure concurrency. We'll understand the deployment and infrastructure, how Netflix have done in 2025, right? So let's begin from here and understand the modern Java adaptation and the things, right? So as I told you, the first big change was Netflix completed its migration to Java 17 and beyond, and even they have explored 2020, 21, and Java 21 and 23. So this leap wasn't just cosmetic; it brought a huge gain in garbage collections and the performance, right? So now migrating to Java is a good choice for them, because they have understand. So this move of brought the Netflix significant performance improvements, and particularly in a garbage collection and CPU efficiency. So the generalization ZGC, adaptation of generalization Z garbage collector, you can say generalization Z garbage collection ZGC, is Java 21, and led to the more predictable garbage collector with the reduced pause times and lower error rates. Okay, so what they're trying to say here, because see, the generalization ZGC is the latest garbage collector, and it's now become a standard garbage collector, right? That we are talking about here, right? So the generalization G garbage collector is now here, because they have now everybody is adopting. Even in the Java 21, it is more predictable garbage collector has become, and so it means like it provides a ultra low pause times for the Netflix and better memory efficiency, and that is why the Netflix have used modern Java adaptations, right? And so now we can say why they are using a Spring Boot, right, at the scale, right? So now if you are wondering, it's is Netflix still building its services in house? The answer is yes. but almost every services is building using the Spring Boot. Yeah, the Spring Boot is completely you can say insane in the backend development, right? And if you are aware with the Spring framework that happens around 2001, and it's after that they have brought, I think, into 2014 the Spring Boot, and from there now the Spring Boot 3 version is now, and lot of changes has happened. So the Spring Boot provides a better and adaptable feature of Java as soon as the Java releases its version. So Spring Boot is also changing it a lot of things in their things, like they have in Java 2 they have removed Java from the Java 2 to Java 3, sorry, Spring 2 to a Spring Boot 2 version to a Spring Boot 3 version. The Javax has been removed and the new things has come that we will talk about the next video. And let's continue to understand about this, like, so so the Netflix is choosing web MVC over the web flux, right? Because the Netflix prefer a Spring web MVC over the web flux, because it's a because as the reactive programming has fallen out over many things, right, in the organization. So they have uh, they are using web MVC over the web flux, right? If you are not aware with the web MVC and web flux, please let me know in the comment box, so I'll explain you more in the next video. Okay, so over 3000 microservices are powered by Spring Boot. So Netflix even added a custom module for security, gRPC, and more fun fact. So they still prefer a Spring MVC, a Spring web MVC over the web flux. So it's a traditional winning out over reactive here. Okay, so let's understand the GraphQL and gRPC integration. So the Netflix employs Federation of GraphQL API using their domain graph services framework. So they have developed a framework that is known as DZS, and it's a domain graph service framework. So that the service client request, they can serve the client request, you can say, right? And it allow a flexible data querying. So it is very standard framework for them, and they, let's say, we can use that framework or not. So I'm just going through what they have done, why they are so much in the news, and why they have revamped their backend services in Java, and so why they have, how they have implemented the framework, how they are going to provide that. So as you know, Netflix has already provided a lot of things in the Spring Boot and the microservices, right? If you are aware with the microservices, and so now they may provide you the domain graph service framework as open source, and then we can use this also. Okay, so gRPC for the internal communications. So gRPC is utilized for efficient server to server communications and replaced old REST based approaches, right? So now as you know, the REST based services, the API that you are creating, so now has been removed for the gRPC for the internal communications, right? So so what about the GraphQL and gRPC integrations, right? So let me summarize you, like, what about the APIs, right? So Netflix made a big shift toward the federated GraphQL APIs, using their own framework that is called DGS, the domain graph service. And so for the server to server communication, they are using you can say it's all about the gRPC, right? So gRPC offering faster and more efficient communication compared to the older school REST applications, right? Further, let's going to understand the virtual threads, right? So now here is a really futuristic bit about Netflix. Netflix has started using virtual threads from Java 23, and so what is the Java virtual thread? So virtual thread provides massive simplifying concurrency management, though they had some really hurdles like thread pinning and deadlocks. So Java 24 fixes made it stable for production, and so they are using you can say virtual threads. So we'll talk more about some other videos, or you can say the next two videos you can say, and we'll understand the virtual thread things, what is virtual thread in Java 24. Okay, now understand the deployment infrastructure part. So how does Netflix deploy all of these at a scale, right? So they run deployment mainly on AWS and their own Kubernetes platform like Titus, and Titus, they call Titus, their Kubernetes platform is called Titus. So services are packaged as exploded jars with embedded Tomcat servers, and while Netflix exploring the native images with the project Leden, they still holding off the full adaptation for now. And so that is I have for today, and I'll try to summarize everything here. So to sum up it, Netflix shows how Java is still a powerful, modern, and essential in 2025, whether it is a Spring Boot, gRPC, GraphQL, or virtual thread. They are pushing Java to its absolute limits and winning. Okay, so if you enjoy this video guys, please hit subscribe this channels, and let's understand some Netflix Java FAQ, right? QA session. So these are the questions we have, like why does Netflix still uses Java in 2025, and similar questions we have. So let's continue here. So why does Netflix still use Java in 2025 instead of switching to the newer language like Go or Rust, right? If you are a developer, you know the Go and Rust, so you will have some questions about the question, and you may hit yourself, right? So Java remains incredibly powerful for Netflix because of its mature ecosystem and proven scalability and a strong performance tuning capabilities. Plus, with the modern update like generalization, GC, virtual threads, and framework like a Spring Boot, Java keeps evolving and competing with newer languages very efficiently, right? Now understand why is Netflix using a Spring MVC over Webflux. Isn't reactive programming the future? Netflix found that their scale and complexity. So traditional blocking models like a Spring MVC were more predictable, easier to debug, and better support they are providing internally. So Webflux and reactive programming added complexity without proportional benefit for their specific cases, right? And let's understand what is the Netflix biggest Java innovation recently. Introducing the virtual threads into their services was a major step, and it simplifies concurrent programming and lets them handle more tasks with fewer hardware resources. A huge efficiency happen again at Netflix massive scale. So, is a Netflix using Grail VM native image or ahead of time compilation now? So, Netflix is experimenting with AOT and native images like Project Leden effort, but full adaptation isn't there yet. So, the primary concern is that developer experience, such as slower build times and debugging difficulty, doesn't match the productivity of standard JVM deployments. Okay, so how does Netflix handles API management across so many microservices? So Netflix uses a federated GraphQL architecture via domain graph services, DGS, and this leads different teams management. They are parts of API independently, yet still explore it as a unified GraphQL API to client like mobile apps, smart TVs, right? So has Netflix completely abandoned traditional REST APIs? Not entirely. While internal communication is incredible gRPC, external aggression is via GraphQL. So some legacy services and fallback endpoints still rely on REST where it makes sense, right? And so the last question we have is, what platform does Netflix deploy Java services? So that is AWS cloud infrastructure, and there is internal Kubernetes platform that is called Titus, and their services are packaged exploded in jars, and they bundled with the Tomcat instances. So the bonus point is in 2025, Netflix engineers are encouraged to treat memory and threads as a free, and thanks to generalization ZGC and virtual threads, it's a total mindset shift compared to older JVM tuning days. And so the time is for the queues. So what programming language power most Netflix backend services in 2025? So is it Go, Rust, Java, or Kotlin? So the answer is Java. So Netflix continue to use Java for its scalability, maturity, and constant evaluations. Okay. Now understand which Java feature helped Netflix simplifying handling thousands of concurrent tasks, lambdas, virtual threads, reactive streams, or sockets, right? So the answer is virtual threads. Thanks to the 21 Java 21, and Netflix now uses virtual thread for lightweight concurrency. Okay. So for API management, what technology does Netflix now prefer over traditional trust? So you know that answer is B, GraphQL. They built their own GraphQL federation system called DGS, Domain Graph Services. And so the last question we have, what cloud platform hosts most Netflix services? So AWS. Okay. I think there is one more question. Which garbage collector has Netflix adopted to achieve ultra low power time? Right. I know that you are aware with JetGC. And thank you guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope I have covered in very short time, and let me know if you have any doubt guys. I'll continue some of the topics that I found informative. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe this channel if you have not found.